So great to see you here. And congratulations, first off, from everybody here at NDTV Profit.
Good morning, Prashant, and thank you very, very much for having me on the show on what happens to be the first day of my second term at IFCI. Thank you very much.
Thanks indeed, sir. You obviously coming out of an extremely tough period, both I'm assuming personally and professionally. What's your goal setting like now, sir? What do you plan to achieve in your second term now?
I think it was much more tough personally than professionally. However, the challenges today are absolutely, I think, 180 degrees. When I came in here 5 years ago, this company had already been given up for a dead horse, and an auction was underway for whatever one can retrieve from what happened to be at that time a dead horse. So in some ways one had nothing to lose. Today the company is very stable. Financially it is, of course, in some ways it still remains eluded of its destiny to have become a bank as the other DFIs did. But it is sound, it is doing well. It has been able to associate with itself fresh talent. It has built some strength in its subsidiaries, and so on and so forth. So in some ways, if you ask me for the next 5 years, I am a little bit nervous to begin with. I mean, in the sense that today I have a lot to lose, which one did not have when one came in here 5 years ago.
Okay, that's nicely put, sir. But under your tenure, last tenure, things did pick up on all fronts: asset quality, recoveries, new business. The thing is, the other thing which has changed is that the macro environment now, compared to what it was in your first tenure, is a lot worse. So is your job that much more tougher? Would you perceive your job that much more tougher?
Yes, you're absolutely right, Prashant. I think 5 years ago, when of course the world was still hurtling towards the crisis which unfolded in 2008, one would have had a greater kind of optimism that when such a signal occurs, I mean the financial crisis of 2008, generally the decision making, whoever it is with, that process would be able to take cognizance of those signals all over the world and would be able to take the right steps. I think that has not happened, and therefore we are looking at not today, I mean in the macro environment sense that you said, we are going to be looking at a long period when all kinds of contradictions will continue to challenge us on a day-to-day basis. Of course it is EU today, but it is not that with the EU problem getting resolved, it is the end of, I would say, the structural shift, and in some ways I would also imagine that the challenge to democratic decision-making process, it again all over the world, almost wherever democracy prevails.
Yes.
So I think that will be tested in times to come, and I do not think that we have done worse or better off. I think we have, in some ways, we have certain things on our side, but we also are facing, if you look at it, maybe again not at that level, but at the national level, we have almost similar kind of issues coming to the fore, and they are not going to be possible to resolve very quickly.
Yes. Okay, I have 2 points, IFCI specific, and then I'll come back to the bigger picture. In fiscal 12, last fiscal, disbursements actually dropped quite a bit for IFCI. Is that expected to pick up? Would you reverse that in fiscal 13? And second point is, your NPAs. In this environment, should we expect IFCI to bring down its NPAs? I mean, so they remain where they are, or you actually manage to better it? 2 points, so disbursements and asset quality.
On the first point, let me tell you that from January or February of 2011 onwards, I had a personal belief that things are going to become dull for a long time to come. Investment appetite is going to decline. And so we took a conscious call that having expanded our balance sheet by about 45% year on year for last 3 years, we should now, looking at the environment, take a breather and go slow on fresh disbursements. I don't know whether it was only prompted because of that, because there is also simultaneously the cost of funds issue, so we don't have the cost of fund advantage. So that was another reason that we may not be able to keep our cost of funds at a level where our NIMs are positive. So these two things these two things caused us to reconsider our asset growth. We slowed down. We have still expanded, but we have expanded at a very, I would say, meager 10% or 12% over the last year. Now about the NPAs, I think again in NPA wise, because we are in term lending, 3 to 5 years, much of it is in infrastructure, and you know better than me as to what is going on in large parts of the infrastructure sector, and we don't have any resolution in sight as yet, whether it is gas or it is coal or even road projects, where again I think there is a whole host of issues. So I think that there would be some cases where the companies to whom we have lent would not be having the requisite cash flows to be able to honor their repayment commitments. That is certainly bound to happen during the year. And the way I would like to deal with it is, as I said, I would like to have enough cushion with IFCI so that if certain rephasement, restructuring or deferment is called for to enable the industry to tide over that lean patch of theirs, we should be able to do it without having to, I would say, invite censure, criticism or concern from the rating agencies and from the larger community which actually lends to us. So that's the way I would look at NPAs today, Prashant.
Okay, that's a fair point. What does your restructured portfolio look like now, sir?
Well, we haven't restructured it as yet, but as I said, there would be this case where cash flows won't be there.
Right, you might have to. You might have to.
Yeah, absolutely, right. Absolutely.
Right. No, but right as of now, fourth quarter ended. There's no loans have been restructured. That's what you're saying.
No, I mean there have been, as I said, there have been a couple of slippages. We have shown the NPA which percentage is about 1%
Okay.
But there are no restructuring. They are classified as NPAs.
NPAs, yes.
And we are recovering it.
Yes.
And we are recovering it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got that, sir. So, what would, last couple of years, your disbursements have been towards sectors which essentially are characterized as, trouble, like textile, steel. I mean, steel for even banks like State Bank of India is one of the toughest trouble spots right now because of the macro environment. What is the direction that you'd like IFCI to take in terms of, or would you like to steer clear of these kind of sectors and go after relatively, sort of better prospect industry sectors in that sense? Do you have a choice? I mean, I guess I should start with that.
Prashant, those who have a choice have already made the choice not to invest in this country. IFCI does not have that choice. So we have to choose from whatever is. And as it happens, textiles and steel, though we haven't taken any fresh exposure, there is the whole lot of legacy exposure, and it continues to challenge us. I mean, there is no doubt about that. However, we have to pick winners from here. We had thought that some winners would emerge from the services sector as well. But all the kind of, I would say, noise, or maybe noise is not the correct word. I should use a more respectable word for what is going on. I think all the indications are to the contrary. I think the long arm of authority would not allow any sector to be able to function on, I would say, commercial kind of principles. So therefore, there is that challenge, and education and health, where we thought that there would be certain kind of movement for us to be able to participate, are also not looking all that promising today. I mean, they're just looking like what infrastructure is.